Completing the square can be very helpful in a few situations, and one of them is when we need to solve a quadratic equation, and especially if it does not factor. If it doesn't factor, we either want to complete the square or use the quadratic formula. So two things that I make sure of before I complete the square. One, I make sure that I have my constant on the other side. Okay, so you can see here in this first equation that my constant right here is on the other side away from my variable terms. And if it's not, then you have to move it to that side. Two, I want my leading coefficient to be 1. And you can tell here that my leading coefficient is 1. So now I'm ready to complete the square. And the purpose of this, what we're trying to do, the goal I guess I should say, is to get this to be a perfect square binomial. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to add the perfect number to the left-hand side to make this a perfect square binomial. So let me go ahead and rewrite this, and I'm going to leave some blanks. I'm going to say x squared plus 6x plus blank. And let me do that in a different color, plus blank, so that I know on the right-hand side, I also need to do plus blank. Okay, if I'm going to add this purple blank to the left side, this number, I need to do the same thing to the right side. Now, let's see what this number is. Okay, the number that we're going to add is half of the middle coefficient squared. So you may see your coefficients listed as A and B and C, and we're going to take half of our middle coefficient, so 1/2 of B, and then we're going to square it. You may also see it written like this. You may see B over 2 squared. So for this first example, I'm going to take half of 6, which is 3, and I'm going to square the 3. That gives me 9, and I'm going to add 9 on the left, and I'm going to add 9 on the right. Now, this is a perfect square right here. If you want to, I'll show you, I'll factor it. Okay, most people are going to just go straight to the two binomials, but I'll factor it to show you that it's going to be x and x, 3 and 3, plus and plus. Okay, so you see this is x plus 3 squared. So my next step, I'm going to write x plus 3 squared, and that equals, let's see what we have over here, -7 plus 9 is 2. Okay, now we're going to use the square root property. Okay, I'm going to write it right here. I'll just put SRP. And if you don't know the square root property, you can look it up. What it says is that we are going to take the square root of both sides, plus or minus. And now what we have is an equation that says x plus 3 equals plus or minus square root of 2. Okay, one more step, subtract 3 from both sides, and we will know what x is. Subtract 3 here, subtract 3 here. So x equals -3 plus or minus square root of 2. Okay, now this is actually two answers, so you may want to write it like this: -3 plus square root of 2 and -3 minus square root of 2. And these are real numbers. You can find these on a number line. Okay, if you were going to go graph your parabola, you would see where your zeros are.